Hello, I just wanted to do a quick little thing about capos and maybe give you some new ideas for your own playing, and maybe there'll be a couple things you haven't seen before. So I think most people use capos on guitars, obviously to change keys, make them easier to play. I mean, if you want to play in B flat, it's a lot easier to just play like it's G on the capo on the 3rd fret. But there's a lot of other ways you can use a capo, and I hope you find some of this helpful. So one of the ways that I've liked to try new things with capo is just doing a partial capo, where you, as you can see there, the capo's on the 2nd fret here, leaving the E string open. It's just a 5-string thing. And the nice thing about this is it can give some new tonal qualities to your chords. This is also pretty nice for creating a ringing sound, like a jangliness to the open strings when you're playing in D, for instance. Because the capo is not made specifically for this purpose, you might find that it doesn't apply pressure evenly across the strings. You might have to fiddle with it a little bit. Also, it might be applying pressure down here on the B string a little harder, causing that string to go a little sharper, and you might have to adjust your E string so it matches. But this is nice for playing in D when you have the capo on the 2nd fret like that, because you can get this jangliness, and then chords like A minor 7, E minor 7 have this nice quality to it because that 7th note of the chord is ringing out open. Also, the G chord, when you do that, has the 5th automatically played open, so it makes it even easier. You just play a 2-string G chord without anything on the top. But one other thing that's nice for playing in D with a capo is if you get a 3-string capo like this, you can actually try something a little different. I use this to basically capo an E suspended chord on the 2nd fret of just the A, D, and G strings. Sounds kind of like that when it's open. Use it similarly to how we were doing with the 4-string, sorry, the 5-string capo on the 2nd fret. When you're playing with the in the key of D, you can do the same thing with the G chord, where you have the 2-string chord and it's already got the 5th in there on the top, or you can play it normally. One thing that's really nice about this is that when you're playing in E, using the D chord, you get that drop D sound, but you still have standard tuning, so none of your fingering changes on the chords. So things I've used this for are little riffs I've written that are kind of like... like a 2-chord riff, but there's a lot of different things you can mess with. A7 sounds kind of cool when you do it that way. A minor 7 sounds cool too. So you kind of get this open E kind of tuning sound without having to mess around with new fingerings of the chords that you're already used to. So that's one thing. Now, if you don't have a 3-string capo, you can get the same effect using one of these kind of capos by turning it around backwards and using the part that usually goes on the back of the guitar to get the same effect. That's how I originally started doing this. And you have to be a little more careful because it's a little wider, but you can get the same effect. All right, so another use for the 3-string thing is you can actually just bar out a regular open A chord. All right, so 2nd fret on the B, G, and D strings. And this is a little nicer for playing in G. So when you can add in, without having to finger anything, it feels like you're in an open tuning. And then you can play like your regular C shape over it, slide it up. So I have some songs I've written that are like this. Alright, so that's another thing you can do. And then if you want to move those concepts up, you can just use 2 capos. So if you wanted to play in B but have that nice open ringing string sound, you could put the capo all the way across the 2nd fret and do that same thing with the A chord shape that we did down there, but put this 3-string capo on the 4th fret. Alright, just like before, but a couple frets up. And you'll always have to mess with the tuning usually when you do that, because the strings are depressed at different pressures and it can kind of mess with things. So this... Alright, so you're going to find that using multiple capos will mess with your tuning, but... So I'm basically playing what is something that feels like it's in G, except I don't have to actually finger the G chord. And really I'm only using 2 very easy C chord shaped fingerings, and then just embellishing with some runs. Alright, so you can move those 3-fret capo shapes up the neck any way you want. And then I have one for you that's just totally original. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that did it, because I figured this out by accidentally putting the capo in the wrong place when I was drunk. So what I did was I had started out with this shape I showed you earlier, where I have the 3-string capo in the E suspended shape. Alright, and then I was going to do something else, and I put my capo on the 1st fret. So I'll show you this little thing and see what you think of it, and then I'll wrap it up. But this is a capo on the 1st fret, and then on the 2nd fret I've got the A string, the D string, and G string with the 3-string capo, and it sounds awful open. Oh god. But what's kind of cool about it is I get this sort of interesting thing in A minor when I play like I'm in... So if I just play like a G chord, but muting the A string, I'm already in a minor key. And then if I just... another chord I finger here is 3rd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret on the A, 1st fret on the D. Nice like C minor 7 chord, or in reality it's a D minor 7 chord. So I can easily play these chord shapes in A minor, but it has a very different sound to it. Alright, some kind of nasty diminished sounds in there, but a riff I came up with on that you can check out is... Alright. Lots of strum pattern. And I actually really like that dissonance. So if you're looking for some kind of dissonant cool things to mess with, try messing with 2 capos, see what you come up with, and I hope this was helpful.